everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and it's time for the post-trade deadline edition of Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at Pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pickdawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Wednesday, August 3rd. First up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. This is going to be an afternoon contest at 12:10 Eastern. We're going to see Yusei Kikuchi going for the Blue Jays, but no official starter listed for the Rays quite yet, and therefore we don't have an official lineup for this one. Now, look at Yusei Kikuchi. It's been an inconsistent year for him, to say the least. A 4.89 ERA on the season, but he does have 79 strikeouts in 70 innings pitched, so more than a strikeout per inning, which you like to see from starting pitchers. But the only thing is, Yusei Kikuchi's really struggled with the home runs and walks this season, and that's really the case on the road especially, where he's got a much worse ERA. He's got an 0-3 record, only 27 Ks and 27 in the third inning, so a lower strikeout rate, a much higher walk rate, and a much higher ERA, and I do worry about him on the road in this spot. You know, the Tampa Bay Rays didn't do too much against Kikuchi back on June 30th, but that was in Toronto, and the Rays are getting healthier in their lineup. Their offense is going to be helped a lot more because of that, and their numbers against lefties in the last 30 days haven't been too bad, even though the run-scoring department hasn't been the best for Tampa Bay. This is still a solid pitching staff, a solid bullpen, and at home where the Rays play their best baseball, I do think Tampa Bay grabs a win in this one. So give me the Tampa Bay Rays here on the money line. In our next matchup, we see another early afternoon start time, 12:20 Eastern, between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton are your starters, and this one a pretty good pitching matchup we have here. Now, the Braves are pretty sizable favorites at -140 right now, and I can expect the public may be behind the dog in this spot in Philadelphia, as Wheeler does have the much better ERA on paper. The Phillies had a pretty good trade deadline themselves, and they have been playing competitive baseball as of late, but I do like the Atlanta Braves in this particular matchup. When you look at Charlie Morton, as of late, he's been limiting the home runs, hasn't given up a home run in each of his last 2 outings and 3 of his last 5, which is a big improvement from where we saw him at the beginning of the year. He's got a 4.34 ERA, but an even better 4.07 FIP and a 3.75 xFIP. He's got double-digit Ks per 9, and if he's able to limit those home runs and walks going forward, I think he's going to be having some success on the mound. While on the other side, we've seen Zach Wheeler give up at least 1 homer in each of his last 3 outings, and his last 2 outings against some pretty weak lineups in the Pittsburgh Pirates and Chicago Cubs. We know the Braves are playing really good ball, and they had a really good trade deadline as well. I thought this Braves bullpen was really good before, but they added a big piece in Raisel Iglesias to bolster this bullpen even more so. I think Atlanta could be one of the better teams in the National League after that trade deadline. Even though the San Diego made it kind of tough to compete with them, I do like Atlanta to win this game. I think they're going to put the pressure on New York in the division standings in the NL East. The Mets didn't really do too much at the deadline to get better. I still think they're a good team on paper, but watch out for these Braves. I think they have the best bullpen in baseball. Give me the Atlanta Braves here on the money line. In our next matchup, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the New York Yankees. We're going to see Luis Castillo and Garrett Cole as your starters for this one. Of course, this is going to be the Mariners' debut of Luis Castillo, one of their pickups that they made at the trade deadline a few days before the actual deadline date. Now, Castillo's got a 2.86 ERA this year, a 1.07 whip, 90 strikeouts, and 85 innings of work, pitching really well overall for the Cincinnati Reds at the time. Now he's going to be making his first start for the Mariners. He faced this New York Yankees lineup back on July 14th and had a lot of success. 7 innings, only 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, and he did walk 4 batters, and at times we've seen the control issues be a problem for Castillo with the walks. But I don't really worry about it in this particular outing. When you got Garrett Cole on the other side, he is struggling. He's given up 8 earned runs in his last 12 innings pitched against the Royals and Orioles. Not necessarily the strongest of lineups, and I still think that Garrett Cole is a little bit overpriced in this one. I think pitching at a 3.3 ERA, definitely not worth the contract that he's getting this season, but especially when you look at this money line price, I know the Mariners are without a few big names, including Julio Rodriguez, but they've been competitive enough this season to warrant a little bit more respect from the odds makers, especially with who I believe is the better starter this season in Luis Castillo. So I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners here on the run line, getting the 1.5 runs here on the road. In our next matchup, we see the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to see no official lineup for this one as the D-backs have not announced an official starter. We should see Shane Bieber going for the Guardians. I do think Bieber may be in a little bit of trouble in this one, even though he's having a good season overall. He is in the bottom 17th percentile in average exit velocity, bottom 18th in hard hit percentage, and the Diamondbacks have done pretty well against right-handed pitching as of late. When you look at the numbers, D-backs number 5 in baseball in team OPS with a 791 team OPS in the last 30 days against righties, and number 7 in isolated power against those right-handed pitchers. They limit strikeouts to the plate. They get on base via the walk pretty often. I think they can hit a home run or two against Shane Bieber here and get their team total over in this one. So I'm going to take the team total over for the D-backs. We can expect them to be pretty sizable underdogs here. So the team total should be pretty low with Bieber on the other side. Give me the team total over in Arizona. Our next matchup, we see the Minnesota Twins hosting the Detroit Tigers. Tyler Alexander and Joe Ryan are your starters. Now, Joe Ryan had one of the worst outings you're going to see from a starter in 2022. Last time out against the Padres, 4 2/3 innings, 10 earned runs, 5 homers in that one. Now, I don't think he's going to pitch that poorly the rest of the season. I think he'll bounce back in this particular start as well. You're facing a Tigers lineup that just hasn't done much against righties on the road especially, but really in general overall this season. Against right-handed pitching, the Detroit Tigers are ranked near the bottom in almost all important hitting metrics, including dead last in team OPS in the last 30 days. So I do think Ryan bounces back here. On the other side, Tyler Alexander, he's had decent numbers here for Detroit. The Tigers have had a lot of injuries in their starting rotation, including Alexander. He was out for quite some time. Now, he is back in the rotation here, but I don't love this spot for him. The Minnesota Twins have hit lefties pretty well lately. Top 5 in isolated power, top 10 in team OPS. I think this is a spot where Ryan has a solid outing. I think the Twins bats are going to back him up. So give me the Minnesota Twins here, laying the run line at home. In our next matchup, we see the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Texas Rangers. We see Martin Perez and Kyle Bradish on the mound for this one. Rangers pretty big favorites here because their best starter is on the mound in Martin Perez, and he has been in great form as of late. His last 3 outings against the Mariners, Oakland A's, and Angels, he's given up only one earned run in each of those 3 starts. He's on 5 innings against the Mariners with 9 strikeouts, 6 Ks against the A's in those 7 innings, and then 6 Ks last time out against the Angels in that 7-2 Rangers win. The Rangers bats have been strong at home, and I think they're going to be able to get to Kyle Bradish here, who has struggled in this Orioles rotation, 1-4 with a 7.01 ERA. The ERA is even higher on the road this season at 7.5. Now, his last start wasn't too bad against the Cincinnati Reds, but you're not facing the Reds here. You're facing a much tougher lineup in Texas. I think the Rangers get to him and back up Martin Perez here. Give me the Texas Rangers here on the money line. Next up, we see Jose Urquidy and Brian Bello as the starters in this Red Sox-Astros matchup. I like the over in this game. Even though the Astros have trended pretty nicely to the under in 2022, I think we see some scoring from both teams. Now, Jose Urquidy's been pitching a lot better lately than he did at the beginning of the season, but I still don't necessarily trust his stuff. He got a little bit lucky in that last outing against the Mariners. He only had 3 Ks in 6 2/3 innings. A couple of balls that were hit pretty deep, 2 just missing a home run. One was robbed of a home run by Kyle Tucker. The other one, Ty France thought he had a home run, but it actually hit off the top of the wall, and it was a long single. But I do think the Red Sox bats are at least competent right now. They added Eric Hosmer to their lineup. I think they'll be able to put up a few runs here on the Astros, but on the other side, I do think the Astros do most of the damage offensively here against Bello and a very struggling Red Sox bullpen. I think this pitching staff has just not looked the same lately, and I think the Astros can take advantage of that. So I'm going to take the over in this Red Sox-Astros matchup. Next up, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox. Lance Lynn and Brady Singer are your starters. Now, I've said that I do believe Lance Lynn will at some point be the starting pitcher that the White Sox need him to be, but right now he's just not that guy, and I just can't back him at this kind of price against Brady Singer, who's just been so sharp as of late. His last outing against a really tough Yankees lineup, Singer went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. His last 13 innings, he's got 22 strikeouts, only 1 earned run allowed. He is pitching in much better form than Lance Lynn is. Lance Lynn's last outing, 3 home runs against the Oakland A's of all teams. And the last 4 starts that Lynn has had, the White Sox have lost 3 of those 4 starts. They're big favorites here, but I just can't get behind it. Even though the Royals lost a few pieces in that lineup to the trade deadline, I think the Royals are at least going to be competitive here. Give me the Kansas City Royals on the run line plus the 1.5 runs. Next up, we see the New York Mets taking on the Washington Nationals. We're going to see Anibal Sanchez and Chris Bassett as your starters for this one. To me, this is a lopsided pitching matchup. Anibal Sanchez, ERA at 7.47, and 0-3 record. He's only had 3 outings this year, 15.2 innings, but all 3 of those outings were not easy to watch. 6 earned runs against the Cardinals in 5 2/3 innings. 3 earned and a homer against the D-backs back on July 23rd, and then 4 earned runs, 2 homers against the Braves in his first start of the year. The strikeouts have been there for Hannibal, but the home runs, walks, and base hits are also there, and I do worry about him against a really strong Mets lineup. I think the Mets are going to win this game pretty comfortably. Give me the Mets on the run line. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Miami Marlins. Mike Minor and Sandy Alcantara are your starters for this one. Now, Mike Minor and Sandy Alcantara could be polar opposites on the mound here. When you look at Mike Minor, 6.31 ERA, a 1.58 whip this season, struggling very much so for the Reds in 2022. On the other side, Sandy Alcantara's got to be one of the favorites to win the National League Cy Young, a 1.99 ERA. Now, he is struggling in his last couple outings, but I think he bounces back here against a Reds team away from Great American Ballpark and pitching at home here for Sandy. So I like the Marlins to have a solid outing pitching-wise, but against a lefty here on the mound, I don't think their offense is going to do much of anything. The Marlins continue to struggle against left-handed pitching. That's been the case all season long, and they're now ranked 29th in the league in the last 30 days in team OPS, 29th as well in isolated power. The strikeout percentage is up there against lefties on the season. And Mike Minor hasn't been great, but I think he's good enough here to keep this game low scoring. The Marlins offense continues to struggle with runners in scoring position. I like the under in this game. We have a pretty low total because Sandy's on the mound. Give me the under in this Reds-Marlins matchup. Next up, we see the Chicago Cubs taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, both of these teams kind of had some surprises at the trade deadline. The Cubs not moving Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ. The Cardinals moving Harrison Bader for Jordan Montgomery. So both of these teams were definitely busy at the trade deadline, but not for the reasons that we expected. Justin Steele and Miles Mikolas are your starters here. Justin Steele's had success overall in 2022, but not on the road. A 1-3 record on the road with a 4.71 ERA. And against the Cardinals lineup that crushes left-handed pitching, I do worry about Steele here. Miles Mikolas, a 2.86 ERA this season. He has had his starts where he has struggled more so than others, but at home this year, 2.31 ERA, 51 Ks in 66 innings. Not a lot because he's more of a pitch-to-contact guy, but pitching well at Busch Stadium, and I think the Cardinals win this game going away. Give me the St. Louis Cardinals here on the run line. Our next matchup, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're going to see Freddie Peralta and Zach Thompson as your starters for this one. This is going to be the first start for Freddie Peralta since May 22nd, and his first start against the Pirates since April 28th. And he had a lot of success in that outing against Pittsburgh. 6 innings, no earned runs, no walks, no home runs, 7 strikeouts, only 3 hits to show for it, and the Brewers did win that game on the road. I think the Brewers win this one and win it comfortably on the road as well. I'll lay the run line here. You look at Milwaukee facing Zach Thompson, not my favorite option on the mound, gives up a good amount of home runs. The Brewers are number 3 in isolated power in the last 30 days against righties, number 3 in team OPS as well. They're walking a good amount against righties, not really striking out much. I think they get to Thompson here. Give me the Milwaukee Brewers here on the run line. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Los Angeles Angels. No official starter for the Oakland A's. Shohei Ohtani is projected to go for the Angels. Of course, the Angels keeping Ohtani on the roster at the trade deadline. It was rumored that maybe the Angels were shopping around. The Yankees were one of the supposed teams to offer for Ohtani, but he is staying put for now, and I do think it's a good decision for the Angels to keep Ohtani and build around him. On the mound, he's been very good. At the plate, he's been also very, very good this season. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge having an historic year at the plate for the Yankees, Ohtani would be the clear favorite to win MVP yet again, but now it's a little bit of a competitive race there. In this matchup, the Oakland A's not really doing much offensively this season against right-handed pitching. With Ohtani being so strong on the mound, I think he gives the Angels their best chance to win here. I'm going to take the Los Angeles Angels here on the run line, but not my favorite game on the board, just because we don't have the starter for the A's listed, we don't have a price, and we can expect the price is going to be pretty hefty when it is announced because Ohtani's on the mound. Not a lot of value in this game. I'll be staying away altogether. Next up, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the San Diego Padres. Chad Cole and Blake Snell will be your starters for this one. Now, overall, it was a pretty quiet day in San Diego for the Padres, especially in the MLB deadline. We figured there would be some news from San Diego, but they really just held their ground, didn't do much. Of course, I'm lying here. They made one of the bigger blockbuster trades you're going to see in MLB history as Juan Soto and Josh Bell are heading to San Diego to play for the Friars. Now they've got Machado, Soto, Bell, and when Tatis returns, he will be included in that lineup. Woof, a dangerous team, a team you don't want to mess with. And now Juan Soto is a part of a club where if you walk him, you're going to have to worry about the guys behind him a little bit more so. With the Washington, you had to worry about Bell, but that was really about it. Now you've got Machado and Tatis. We'll see where the Padres decide to move these guys in the lineup, but this is now officially one of the tougher teams in the league to face, and it has to be one of the few World Series contenders, especially you add in Josh Hader at the deadline. This was already a team that had a really good pitching staff and had a pretty good record themselves, so watch out for the Padres for now and for years to come, especially if they're able to re-sign Juan Soto. We'll have to see if that's the case, but that's not a worry for this game. Let's take a look at this particular matchup. I like the Padres here, even if they don't have Soto and Bell in the lineup for this game officially. We will see if they do get them, but Chad Cole is struggling on the mound. The Padres' bats are starting to heat up, and Blake Snell, although he is a lefty and the Rockies have hit lefties well this season, I still think Snell is a good option on the mound here. Strikes out a good amount of batters, and although he has had struggles in recent starts, we've seen him go the last 11 innings, giving up only 1 earned run with 12 strikeouts, so I think he's sharp enough here against the Rockies at home. Give me the San Diego Padres here on the run line, and watch out for those Padres in the future. Our final game of the night, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the San Francisco Giants. Julio Urias and Alex Cobb are your starters for this one. Now, I know the Giants have hit lefties overall pretty well in 2022, but Urias pitching well on the road this season and overall. 2.71 ERA overall, 2.49 on the road. And the Giants just really struggling with runners in scoring position. And the last start that Urias had against San Francisco at home, he went 6 innings, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and a 4-2 Dodgers win. On the other side, Alex Cobb's coming off one of his best starts of the season. He had double-digit strikeouts against the Chicago Cubs. At home this year, he's got a 2.84 ERA. Solid strikeout rate for Cobb this season. I think he bounces back here. After his last start against the Dodgers, he struggled a little bit in the early innings of that one. He was able to settle in and give the Giants some much-needed innings there, but I think Cobb could deliver a pretty quality start here for the Giants at home. I think at a more pitcher-friendly ballpark, we see runs are hard to come by in this one. Give me the under to end the night in the Dodgers-Giants matchup. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday, August 3rd. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.